Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and in today's video we're going to be making this Geared Up Garage Stampscape card. So let me set it aside, and let's get to the creative part. For today's card, we're going to use Geared Up Garage and Waterfront, both from Stampin' Up! You can purchase these in my Stampin' Up! Store. There's a link to that in the description below the video. We're going to start with a piece of Whisper White. This is cut to a different size. It is 5.5 wide and 3 3/4 inches tall. I've got the car stamp, and we're going to ink that in Memento. Make sure that it's good and inked up. And then this is going to go here in the lower right. And let me set that aside. Now, I have already stamped and cut out a mask for my car, and I have adhesive on here so that it's temporary. And to do that, spread on a little of the multi-purpose liquid glue in a thin layer, let it dry completely, and then it's tacky rather than permanent, so you can lift it back off. The other tip I would give you for masks is to cut them very close. I like them in text weight paper so you don't have the extra height bulk when you stamp, and cutting it very close, as close as you can get to the outline, will keep you from having a white gap around the object that you're masking. That is, if you don't want a white gap around the object that you're masking. Okay, now we're going to start with some balmy blue, and this, I don't know if you can see the shape of this stamp. It could be a cloud, it could be a mountain. In this case, it's going to be water in the from the Waterfront stamp. And going to start right here in the middle. Make sure that I've got contact all the way across. And then I'm going to line that up and stamp again. And then for this next one, I'm going to fold my grid paper up and stamp, because I don't want ink below the line. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn this around and stamp in here, and stamp out here. And there we go. And we filled in the water. Little bit out here on the edge. Some white is okay. I like the overlapping because it gives the water some texture. Okay, and let's put that stamp aside. And then next, I've got the mountain stamp. It too could be water or mountain. Close up my balmy blue and get it out of the way. And I've got Old Olive. Now my Old Olive ink pad is very juicy. So in order to get the lights and darks that I want with this, I'm going to stamp some at full strength and some stamped off. Now, if your Old Olive is not as inky as mine is, you may want to use Old Olive and Mossy Meadow for your mountains. Let me clean this stamp quickly and set it to the side. And next I'm going to bring in the crumb cake. And I've got this stamp that's kind of a zigzag. I've actually got two stamps on here. First, we're going to start in full strength, and this will kind of give us a shadow under the car. Okay. And then we're going to stamp off. Whoops. Have to remember to stamp off. I think I just want this little end over here. Okay. And clean that one because we're going to use it again in a moment. But first I have these little texture dots. Okay. And put the crumb cake aside. Next up is Mango Melody. And there's a roundish stamp in the waterfront set. We're going to put that right in here. Set this aside. We'll come back to it. And speaking of coming back to it, I need the Balmy Blue again. And that same kind of zigzag that we used down here, we're now going to use for clouds at the top. And I want to stamp off. Okay, put the Balmy Blue aside again. And now I've got Calypso Coral and Terracotta Tile. And I have this kind of straight stamp from Waterfront. And again, I'm going to stamp off. Oops. Okay. And then I want a little bit of terracotta tile in here. And I've got a piece of scrap paper here that I'm just going to lay over the mountains, and I'm just inking part of my stamp here in terracotta tile. And let's move this aside. And again, I only need a little bit of ink on it, or inked in a small space. And we'll do that here as well. And you get the idea. We're just going to keep moving right on across the Stampscape here. And let's see if we can get right in here. Okay, so we've kind of got a sunset. I want to come back with that Mango Melody and the round stamp and give that another little pop so that it brightens that yellow circle. And then we are ready to pull our mask off the car gently. Okay, I do keep my masks and use them again and again. So now I have some of my Stampin' Blends in Poppy Parade and Smoky Slate. And we're going to start with the Poppy Parade and use some of the shading on the drawing to tell me where to put the dark. And then I'm going to blend so that these don't stay hard lines. Okay, and then I want to do this on each of these lines here, and to give some more definition and shape to the car. And I'm going to switch over to my bullet tip to come in here on the roof. And just a very light touch. Okay, let me recap everything and grab my Smoky Slate. And I'm going to use the Smoky Slate as if it were the chrome on the car. And brushing across will blend some of the dark that I put down. I am going to make this wheel well darker, and then come across here with the light Smoky Slate, and then just give it a very light brush, not really coloring it in here. Now let's recap these, and it's time to put some final details on. Okay, so next we're going to take the Wink of Stella pen, and I know it's a masculine card, but chrome has a little glitz to it, so we're going to use the Wink of Stella to let it have a little sparkle. And the same thing with the windshield. We won't make it too glittery since it's a masculine card. But we'll do some of that in there. Okay, so we're going to put it together first since I'm on video. Normally I would wait for this next step. I have a piece for the inside and a narrow strip of Poppy Parade, just to give a finishing detail for this inside piece. Oops. And lay that straight across there. And then open up our Poppy Parade card base. And this is a standard 5 1/4 by 4 mat for the inside of the card. There we go, it's straight now. And then we'll go ahead and layer this piece on. The bleed through from the blends is normal. Now I've cut this piece so that it runs side to side, and I want a narrower border at the top and this larger border at the bottom. And then to finish our car, I've got my fine tip glue pen, and let's come in here just a little bit so you don't see my head, and turn this to the side rather than straight up and down, and squeeze in a little bit of glue on the headlights. It'll give them a little dimension and interest on the card. And then you will want to set that aside and let it dry. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker of theartfulinker.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can purchase your current Stampin' Up! Products in my store using the link below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then hop on over to my blog, link below, to see what else I've been sharing lately. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.